Hello friends, very good evening. Welcome to LTX classes. Every day when you look at newspaper, we are seeing news clippings of rupee value falling every day with respect to dollar. Today it has touched 80 rupees per dollar, which is a historical low for rupee. But why is rupee falling? How does the value of rupee versus dollar change on a daily basis? We have all these questions. I'll try to answer all of them in a detailed manner. So let's get started. How does the price of anything get affected? Tell me. The price of anything, any commodity, is affected by two parameters called demand and supply. Something, when supply is constant, if you increase demand, the value of the commodity or the thing will go up. For example, we are producing onions every year. Farmers are producing onions. Let's say in one particular year there's a lot of demand for onions, but the supply is same. The price will go up in the market. Similarly, when the demand is constant and the supply goes down, even then the price goes up. For example, in a particular year, the yield of onion was very less because of some reasons, because of less rain or some other reasons. But the demand is same. When the demand is same and the supply is less, again the price will go up. Similarly, the value of rupee goes up or down. The value of rupee goes up or down based on its demand and supply variations. When there is a lot of supply, when the supply of rupee goes up, obviously its value goes down. When there are more number of people selling rupees, the value of rupee goes down. When there are more number of people buying rupees, which means the demand of rupee is up, in such case the value goes up. When more number of people want to buy rupee, the value goes up. But why would someone sell rupee or why would someone buy rupee? Very, very important aspect, right? So let's get into that part. Before that, I will talk about certain transactions. I go slow so that every person, even a beginner, can understand. I want you to pay utmost attention till the very last minute. You will feel extremely confident about the concept. If you take transactions, there are some transactions which are intra-country, which means within the country. So if there is a transaction between two people within the country, do we have the concept of exchange? No, because both of them transact in rupees. There is no concept of selling rupees or buying rupees. Only when there is a transaction between a person from one country, which is India, let's say there is a person from another country, you can say US or China or any other country, which is rest of the world. In such case, if there is a transaction between a person from India and person from another currency with a different currency, another country with different currency, we have our currency as rupee and US as the currency of dollar. How will you transact? Let's say you are buying an iPad from an American. To buy iPad, you need dollars. You will need dollars. So where will you go? You don't have dollars, right? You have rupees. So you will go to RBI and you will sell your rupees to RBI. You have rupees, you are selling rupees. You will sell your rupees to RBI and then you will buy dollars. Are you getting this? Whenever you are importing something, what are we doing? We are selling rupees to RBI and buying dollars, because dollars are needed in order to import. In order to import, you need foreign currency. To get foreign currency, we will have to sell rupees and buy these foreign currency things, which means all import transactions include selling rupees and buying foreign currency Let's take dollar for example. Import transactions include selling rupee and buying dollar. Now let's look at export transaction. What happens when you are exporting something? Again, let's say you have exported mangoes. You exported mangoes to US. You exported mangoes to US. The US person gives you dollars. So you get dollars. But India, you will need rupees. What will you do with dollars? So you go to RBI. You sell those dollars to RBI, and then you buy rupees. You're exchanging, by giving the dollars that you have, and you're taking rupees from RBI, which means there is a demand for rupees. You're selling dollars and buying rupees. I hope you're getting this. So in an import transaction, we are selling rupees and buying dollars. In an export transaction, we are selling dollars and we are buying rupees, which means export transactions are creating demand for rupees. Import transactions are creating supply of rupees, excess supply of rupees. As we discussed earlier, when the supply goes up, the value goes down. When the demand goes up, the value goes up. This is what we have discussed earlier. So in an economy, when there are more exports, when exports are more than imports, which means export creates demand, imports create supply. When the demand is more than supply, it leads to the rise in the value of rupee. Similarly, when imports are more than exports, imports create supply of rupees, exports create demand for rupees. When supply is more than demand, obviously the value of rupee goes down. This is how import and export transactions impact rupee. Keep this in your mind. Are these the only transactions impacting the value of rupee? No, there are some more transactions impacting the value of rupee. What are those transactions? Let's look at a transaction of investment. How does investment affect the value of rupee? Let's say a foreigner comes to India. He comes to India and he wants to invest his money in Indian stock market or Indian bond market or in India directly, which means he wants to start a business here directly. For all these things, the foreigner needs rupees. He will need rupees, right? He will have dollars with him, but he needs rupees. So he goes to RBI, he sells those dollars to RBI and buys rupees. So a foreign investment is creating demand for, which means when foreign investment happens, we are seeing buying of rupees. Are you getting this? When foreign investment happens, we are seeing buying of rupees. When the same foreigner sells his investments, whatever shares he has purchased in India, whatever bonds he has purchased, whatever business he has, if he is selling the investments, what will happen? When he sells, he will get rupees. When he sells, for example, he has 100 shares of Reliance Industries. When he is selling, he will get rupees. But what will he do with rupees in his own country? So he will go to RBI. He will sell those rupees and buy dollars. So whenever someone is selling investment, what will happen? Selling of rupees takes place. Are you getting this? Very, very important aspect. There are several other transactions which affect rupee, but for now, the reasons why our rupee is falling right now, these three transactions are enough to understand. There are many other transactions. For example, India takes a loan from World Bank. What is happening? You are getting dollars. The loan, you will get the loan in dollars. But in India, when you come to India, you will exchange those dollars with RBI and you get rupees. So RBI takes those dollars and RBI gives you rupees. So which means you are buying rupees and selling dollars. Similarly, when a company which has invested in India and got profit, and if it wants to take out the profit from India, let's say they invested 100 crores in India and they got 10 crores profit. If they want to take out the 10 crores, what will they do? They will have 10 crores of rupees, they go to RBI, they give those 10 crores and they take 10 crores worth, 10 crores Indian rupees worth dollars, which means they are selling rupees and buying dollars. Very, very simple, right? Very, very simple. So I will simplify the entire thing at once. Just look at this. This will simplify or summarize the entire aspect. So between India and rest of the world, there are multiple transactions. Some transactions like exports involve buying of rupees. Very, very important. How will you understand this? You are exporting something to rest of the world. You are exporting, which means you are exporting a good for which you will receive money. You will receive money in dollars, and that dollar, if it has to enter India, it has to be exchanged. The dollar should come to RBI and this should become rupee when it comes to India. So export transaction, this is how export transaction increases the demand for rupees. We have discussed all these things. Similarly, when you are importing something, the opposite of this happens. So summation of all these transactions, some transactions create demand for rupee, some transactions create supply of rupee. Overall, if the demand is more than supply, the rupee value goes up. Overall, if supply is more than demand, the rupee value goes down. An exporter is coming to RBI and he wants to buy rupees. An importer is coming to RBI, he wants to sell rupees. Are you getting this? Importer is creating supply, exporter is creating demand. So overall, if there is a more demand for rupee, the value goes up. If there is a more supply, the value goes down. Very simple, right? You go to a fish market, more number of people, less amount of fish available, the price of fish goes up. Fewer number of people go to market, there is a lot of fish available, the price of fish goes down. The same thing happens even with rupee. Now, what is happening now? I have explained you the concept. Now, why is rupee falling now? Why is the rupee falling now? This is the main question. Today, our imports are far exceeding exports. Why? Because what do we import? We predominantly import crude oil. We also import gold. The prices of both have gone up, especially crude oil because of Russia-Ukraine war. So because of which our import bill has gone up, and exports have not gone up as much as imports. So imports have gone up much higher than exports, because of which there is a lot of selling pressure on rupees and the value of rupee is going down, because all import transactions create supply of rupee. So there is a lot of selling pressure, rupee is going down. But historically, you might ask me, sir, historically in India we always have more imports than exports. Then why is it falling rapidly today than it used to be earlier? Historically, what would happen? In import-export transactions, we always have this concept. I agree, imports are more than exports, because of which rupee goes down. This is one aspect. But on the other hand, if you look at investments, traditionally India used to attract lot of investments, because India is a fast-growing country. Lot of foreign investors would come to India. They invest in Indian stock market, Indian bond market. To invest in Indian stock market, they would need to buy a lot of rupees. So these investment transactions, they create a lot of demand. Because of which rupee will go up, and it balances the impact of more imports than exports. On one hand, import being more than exports is creating supply. On the other hand, investments are creating demand for rupee. So these investment demand used to balance out the supply of rupee, because of which rupee used to trade around 60 rupees, 70 rupees, somewhere around that. But today what is happening in United States, Federal Reserve, what is it? It is United States Central Bank. It has increased interest rate. US interest rates have gone up. If interest rate goes up in a particular country, it becomes an attractive investment destination. Obviously, all these investors who have invested in Indian stock market, now they are attracted by high interest rates offered by US bonds and US banks, deposit rates of US banks. So now they would want to shift the money that they invested in India to US. If they have to shift the money, what should they do? They should sell. So this is what is happening. They are selling their investments in India. When they are selling, what will they get? They will get rupees because they are selling Indian shares. What will they do with rupees in US? So they have to go to RBI and they are selling these rupees and buying dollars. Are you getting this? These investment transactions are also negative today. Most of these investors are taking out the money they invested in India. They are selling the investments and taking out the money, which means there is a lot of selling pressure on rupee even in this area also. So both from import side and also from investment side, rupee is facing selling pressure, because of which it has been falling rapidly and it touched 80 rupees per dollar. I hope I have made some sense. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye.